Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Sean. I'm going to do an introductory video kind of covering my CRF300 Rally and what mods I've done to it. Not a whole lot so far, just getting some time on the bike. I think I've got a little over 250 miles on it so far. And unfortunately most of it road miles. Yeah, a little bit of dirt roads here and there. Took it to the races with me and used it as my pit bike. Got a lot of attention out there for that. But anyway, let me get started here. We'll start at the front. I added this, I don't know if you call it a windshield deflector, wind deflector, windshield extender. $22 on Amazon. You'll find out that I'm pretty frugal in the things that I buy. That seems to have a pretty good effect. A little bit I've ridden on the road. Without it, a lot of buffering on the head, a lot of wind noise in the helmet. I'm 5'9". But this is I think is well worth the $22. So on Amazon, and I'll provide the links below. Naturally, I've got my GPS on here. Got my Garmin Zumo. You can see how I've got it lined up here because I heard some people complain about these clamp-on windshields or extensions on the front being a line of sight problem. Well, it's hidden right behind the GPS, so it's no big deal. And yes, I know I have this latch upside down. It should be coming down, but I like it like that. It's easier for me to grab and adjust if I need to. Handguards. Again, I'm frugal. I don't tend to buy name brand stuff. I tend to buy cheap stuff where I can, where it really doesn't hurt to do so. And I think handguards are one of those things. I use them on all my race bikes as well. I race a KTM 350. You see some of my vintage bikes. There's two of them, 80 and 82 YZ125s. I've got 4 more in the garage. So got the Garmin Zumo. I don't have this permanently attached here yet, but here's my USB dual charger, and it also shows the voltage on the other side. It has an on-off switch on it. I just have this just kind of sitting here right now because I haven't really decided what I want to do. Plus, I can always unplug it and plug in my battery tender to it as well. Again, a cheap phone charger. I mean, a phone holder, kind of a generic one. I've gone away from carrying my phone on the bars. I think what I'm going to do is when I do my long adventure rides, Trans-America Trail, that type of thing, I'll have my backup phones on those as a backup to the GPS. Because we all know that the vibration, no matter how good of a mount that you've got, it's going to kill your phone at some point. So I don't want to be destroying my personal phone. So I have several backups. So I'll start using them in conjunction with the Garmin for navigation. Yeah, just use that as a backup. And my personal phone will just be in my pocket. I did some inexpensive Amazon foot pegs as well. You know, if it was my race bike, I wouldn't put these on there. If I was thinking I was going to be riding the bike really, really hard and putting a lot of stress on it, I probably wouldn't trust these, but so far they're okay. Similarly, frame guards, again, inexpensive. I think I got these off of eBay though, or Amazon. I can't remember which, but they weren't very expensive. Now with a Moto X stainless exhaust. It's got the full header as well as the stainless slip-on. I didn't go with the titanium. You know, my whole reason really for changing the exhaust was just to save weight. And I know if I'd gone with the titanium, it would have saved another maybe 2 pounds, which would have been really nice, but I couldn't justify double the cost. Now, so far I'm not really pleased with it, but again, I haven't reflashed the ECU. So I'm hoping once I get the ECU flashed that this pipe will serve my needs, but unflashed on a stock bike, it actually hurts the performance. I was doing 75 on the bike on the interstate with the stock exhaust, where I was wide open throttle with this exhaust on here at 70. So the jury's still out, we'll see. Got a rack on here, Precision Racks I think it's called, and an equivalent to a Nelson rig, which is the Kemimoto Tail Bag. There's actually I had a Nelson rig on my Tenere. I had a Tenere 700, which I actually sold after spending some time on this bike. I know some people are like, "You've lost your mind, you've gone crazy." No, I'm a dirt bike guy. I've raced dirt bikes and ridden dirt bikes since I was a kid. And just the weight of the Tenere. Tenere is a wonderful bike, but it being down here in Florida and so much sand, you know, it would be a much more wonderful bike, you know, in Georgia or North Carolina or South Carolina, Tennessee or something like that, where you have some harder trails. I'm not saying it's not possible. There's a lot of guys that ride them here. They do really well, but for me, yeah, I just prefer the lighter weight. But anyway, so I had the Nelson rig on my Tenere, very similar to this, but I like that this has the strap, the catch-all, bungee on the top, has a little bag here on the front too, which is nice, and the inside is just a standard, you know, pretty cavernous though, pretty big. You see I've got a lot of stuff in here, and it expands up. One thing that I've learned by buying these cheap bags is pay attention to how, when they say they're expandable, they have to expand above, from here up, not from here down, because a lot of the cheap ones expand from the bottom down. Well, then when you clamp it down, you're just squishing it all down. It doesn't do no good. So it needs to expand up, you know, from the straps up. So for those of you being frugal like me, trying to save a little money, this is about $65, I think I paid on Amazon. And it's the cheapest thing that I found. So eliminated the big tail monstrosity on the back of the bike. I did the same thing on my XR650. But this one was real simple. You've got a center bolt here. I originally bought a cheap tail tidy and stuck it under here. Didn't really care for that, returned it. And all this is a piece of aluminum angle iron that I just bent out a little bit at an angle to give me some good tire clearance. Yeah, that and just painting it. So very cheap. Actually didn't cost me anything. My side lights, LED, switched to LED. I was hoping that because this was a rally that it would have the LED flasher, but it did not. But anyway, these are the exact same lights that I had on my XR650 as well. Cheap, I think there's $12 for 4. And then the relay that I ordered, the first relay was a $7 relay I had to return. It's a 2-pronged, but you need the appropriate snap fitting, snap connection. So even though what comes on the Honda is a 3-prong, you put a 2-prong snap on it. I'll leave the link at the bottom. Otherwise you get the hyper flash. Let's see what else. I think that's, oh, this one, I stole this idea from somebody else, so I can't take credit for it. But what I did is I took some cutting board material. I work for a boat company, so this is the scrap stuff that I had here. And basically, all I did is through bolt that to the footrest. So it adds about probably 3/4 of an inch in height, and I made it just a little bit wider. That works phenomenally well. And I had to spend 50 bucks on a foot. I've got some pictures I'm going to show you of my toolkit that I've got in here. I've actually got a pretty extensive toolkit that fit in here, which is really nice. Naturally, I don't have tire ironers or air pump or anything else like that, but the amount of tools that I was able to get in there, I was quite surprised by, because again, on the XR650, we would use that box that was for the battery, relocate the battery under the seat, and then use that box as a toolbox on the XRs as well. So I think that's about it so far. Got to work on getting the flash done on the ECU, because I'm really hoping the pipe is going to work out okay. But right now in stock form, it's a disappointment, and I shouldn't be surprised by that. I really shouldn't be, but I was just kind of hoping against hope. So I reached out to 550 Performance, I think it's called. Sent him a couple of emails, asking a couple of questions. I don't have 91 octane here where I live, so I was wondering if he was able to reflash it with a different octane, or if I need to go back to stock. You know, I asked him that question too. Okay, if you've got any questions, reach out to me. I'd love to hear them. Share some thoughts. And those of you who've got more time on the 300 than I do, give me your opinions on things that maybe I've shortcutted on too much, or you know, it's one thing to be practical, you know, and frugal. It's another thing to be stupid and cheap, and I don't want to be the stupid cheap part. Thanks, everybody.